You might want to think twice about buying a Honda in 2023. Honda just saw its largest sales decline ever in 2022, down 33% year over year. And here's why. Simply put, the car buying incentives that Honda is offering consumers keeps on falling. This chart says it all. Deals are getting worse. But that sort of makes sense, doesn't it? Why offer consumers incentives when you barely have cars to sell? The chip shortage is decimating their inventory. If you are looking for a new car, check out quotes.everymandriver.com for the best deals in your area from qualified dealers. Stay open-minded and explore other brands as well. The following 10 vehicles have dropped more than 50% in overall sales numbers over the last year. There could be a silver lining for you. If they're not selling them, they're most likely willing to make a deal with you. At number 10, which really was shocking to me, the Honda Civic has lost more than 51% in overall sales from last year at this time to this year at this time. You would think, as one of America's most best-selling compact cars, it would be phenomenal in terms of sales numbers, but they have dropped considerably over the last 5 years. In 2018, Honda sold 325,000 Honda Civics. Similar numbers in 2019. Then it goes to 261,000 in 2020, 263 in 2021, so a small rebound. But in 2022, 119,000 Honda Civics were sold. The Lexus LC saw a drop of 54% this year. They sold just about 2,600 cars last year, so not big at all. But when you sell just 1,200 in 2022, that's a big deal. Toyota's largest SUV didn't do much better, and there are no new changes on this year's Sequoia. They sold 3,200 in 2022, down from 7,200 last year. That's a 55% drop in sales for the Sequoia. As a compact luxury sedan, the TLX from Acura also slipped pretty bad. They're down 58% from last year. They sold 25,000 cars last year, but when you go to 11,000 cars, that's a big deal. Everyone clearly knows the Honda Insight has ended production for 2022. There will not be a 2023 Honda Insight. They sold 18,000 last year, only 7,600 this year. It makes complete sense that there was a 58% drop in sales. The exterior refresh was not good enough for the Acura RDX. Sales dropped by 63.5%. 53,000 vehicles were sold last year. This year, 19,500. So that's quite the flop. Another vehicle that ended production in 2022, the Toyota CHR, which of course explains why it's on this list. Last year, they sold 34,000. This year, 11,500, which is a drop of 66, nearly 67%. No worries, it won't be here next year. Hyundai discontinued the Ioniq Hybrid and Ioniq Hybrid plug-in for 2023, and that's why it's third on this list. They sold 17,000 Ioniqs last year. They sold 3,600 this year. That's a 79% drop. That's the third worst selling vehicle in terms of percentage in 2022. The second biggest flop of 2022 in terms of percentage of vehicles sold year over year is the Lexus LX. When I read the numbers, I swore it was a glitch. The first all-new Lexus LX in 14 years debuted in 2022. Remember that, because last year they sold 25,000. This year, 3,200. How is that possible? Well, it turns out they've been selling 3,000 to 6,000 vehicles a year over the last 10 years. In 2021 was the anomaly. That's when they sold those 26,000 in the U.S. Then it drops to 3,200. You know what that is? That's a huge drop. That is a major change in percentage. 87% drop from last year. Now, I know what you're thinking. 2021 was the last year, the final year of the Land Cruiser in North America. After more than 60 years, the Land Cruiser nameplate was retired. So why is it still being sold in the U.S. in 2022? Surprisingly, they sold 45 Land Cruisers in 2022. I don't understand, but these are the hard numbers that I'm finding. 3,700 last year, 45 this year. That's a 98.7% drop, and that's why it is technically the biggest flop of 2022. And your top 5 biggest winners in terms of percentage gain in sales from last year to this year, they are the following. The Ford Bronco, 312% more this year compared to last year. Last year they sold 25,000. This year 106,000. Next up, the Hyundai Santa Cruz, a 397% increase from the last year. 6,000 last year, 33,000 this year. Then you have the Ford Maverick. You know the reasons why these are selling, and because they weren't here last year or they were brand new. 847% increase for Ford's Maverick. They sold 7,000 last year. They sold 69,000 in 2022. The Toyota Corolla Cross, which I had recently, a 1,200% increase. People are loving this all-new Corolla Cross. 3,700 last year, 51,000 this year. Sometimes you can buy a vehicle the year before, even though it's a new model. And then the number one, the biggest increase in terms of sales from last year to this year, technically, they sold 2 Toyota GR86s last year. This year, over 11,000. I know, it's brand spanking new in 2022. People are buying it like crazy. That's why it saw a 556,000% increase. When you go from 2 to 11,000, that's why it's the best-selling vehicle in terms of percentage from last year to this year. These are just numbers. I'm having fun with it, but those are the facts.
One final note, if you are in the market for a new vehicle soon, great. Connect with your local dealership and price and test drive at least 3 different vehicles. A vehicle's strengths and weaknesses can only be discovered when you are behind the wheel. My reviews can be good, but you need to test drive these yourself. Visit quotes.everymandriver.com, select the make, model, and your zip code, and you'll get invoice pricing in your area on those vehicles. Shop smarter with price quotes at quotes.everymandriver.com.
Thanks for watching. Please click subscribe and give us a thumbs up. See you next time.